So when a 1-star review comes in because some guy drives by and says, I never stopped to eat there, but 1 star,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. All right, I'm here at Mouthole Barbecue with the famous Ray Mabalot. You've been doing it for how long?
We've been in this location since the end of April.
Yeah.
But we've been a food truck in the area for 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, I think the first time I ever saw you was at Perk in Hillview.
Yeah,
and I think
really good friends of ours.
I think you sold out super quick, right?
In over our heads.
Yeah.
In over our heads.
And but you got into this. You were a plumber by trade, right?
Yeah, I was plumbing. It would have been, I was coming up on my 30th year before I stopped to do this full time.
Yeah. And what convinced you to even get into it in the very beginning?
It's a hobby.
Yeah.
A hobby that turned into something that, Nikki was like, I want to stop feeding these motherfuckers for free.
Yeah.
Make them pay.
Yeah.
We would have these huge cookouts and people would, my cigar friends.
Yep.
We'd have like 40 to 50 people. And they would all come smoke cigars, drink, eat barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of them were like, yeah, man, that's an awesome idea. You can charge. I mean, I would pay for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so slowly but surely we ended up having our first pop-up.
Yeah.
We popped up in the parking lot of Dang's Welding.
Okay.
On 17th Street.
All right.
Sold out in less than an hour.
And 10 years ago, how did you promote that? How did you sell out in an hour?
We didn't. It was all word of mouth.
Yep.
And we actually had some friends that we knew that were in like a bunch of Sarasota like media groups,
Yep.
that did social media for certain places, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote for magazines. We were highlighting a couple magazines before we opened.
Right.
And it was just basically just a whole line of just our friends.
Yeah.
And we were, I was like, holy shit, this is fucking nuts.
Yeah. Like 10 years ago, the barbecue landscape was probably, there's Nancy's in the original location, right?
Nancy's still in the original location. Perry's was,
Yep.
He was doing downtown still.
Yep.
And then the other one on 17th Street, at that little church.
Okay. Yeah.
There's, I guess they're still there.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I never really ate a lot of, I've had Nancy's food. I love Perry's food. I was just never really a big barbecue eater.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely not now after, as you know, cooking so many things, you don't want to eat the shit.
No.
So, like our burgers, people say we have the best burgers in Sarasota. I don't eat the shit. I ate Five Guys 2 nights ago.
Right.
They probably got the worst burgers in Sarasota.
They're not the worst.
No, but I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like, I don't want to cook it for one.
Well, it desensitizes you.
For sure.
Being over your own stuff. That's why, that's why I drink wine while I cook. It helps break up the smell of what you're cooking.
I hear you.
It's a trick.
I heard that from somewhere else too.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably true. I read it on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that on the cooking channel.
Yeah.
I can't remember who was.
But speaking of reading things on the internet, one of the things that makes you famous or infamous is your response to probably, I would say, unjust 1-star reviews.
Yeah, definitely unjust.
Like, I wish Nikki were here to say, and I have to speak up this piece for her. Whenever there's a problem that you guys created or it's your fault, you get out in front of it and you own it and you go over the top to make it right.
100%.
So when a 1-star review comes in because some guy drives by and says, I never stopped to eat there, but 1 star,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It is. And I mean, a lot of people don't realize the people that side with those people,
mm-hmm.
that they're posting it in a very public place.
Yep.
It's on Google.
Right.
Doesn't get any more public than that.
Nope.
So any type of response, I could, whatever my response is more than 100% justified because I'm just responding to something that they've already called me out on publicly.
Yep.
So like the one you're referencing on the wall over there, I mean, she opens her review with, I've never eaten there.
I'm going to read it for us.
Yeah,
let's read that. And then I want to talk about have your response, if you can reiterate that. Descriptions on the menu is attention getting, but aggressive and sometimes unappetizing depending on the state of mind. Throat choker, jizzled. I surmise the owner only wants to appeal to a certain type of demographic. That's unfortunate. I'd visit the restaurant, but not after reading what the owner chooses to use in descriptions. Turn off. Seeing how the owner responds to the review, I'm sure he would not care 1 iota if I did not patronize this establishment anyway. And I'll leave her name out of it, but it's on the wall.
That part is also misleading Because if you look at my responses to every review, it's saying basically how much we appreciate the people. I mean,
Yep.
I never have, if someone has a legitimate reason why they like, well, just the other day, somebody left a 3-star review, said they didn't like the ribs. They didn't like something else. They compared us to Sonny's. And my response was, thank you for coming in. We can't win them all, which we can't. Just like a lot of people know that I'm a premium cigar smoker. Some of my most favorite, hands down favorite cigar manufacturers, every now and then you'll get a cigar and it's the total dog rocket. And it's like, what the fuck happened to this cigar to make it smoke like shit? To make it plug, whatever it is, it's a man-made product. So just as you know, when you're in there cooking your thing, doing your thing, sometimes something might get away from you. Maybe those ribs did get away from me. Maybe the mac and cheese did get away from me. Maybe I served a subpar. It just wasn't right. And maybe he was the one that got it. So there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can say about it. I can't even. I mean, I can apologize for it, but it's like I served it, so I really can't even apologize for it. It's like something I did, and you didn't like it. Oh well. So if you come back, I can give me a chance to make you happy. I'll definitely do whatever I can to make you happy. But outside of that, it's like you tried us, you didn't like it. I'm not going to beg somebody to come back.
So what did you say to this 1-star review?
To that lady?
A
whole slew of shit. That was one that I actually did go out of my way and leave a smart ass review. And a smart ass response. And I mean, the gist of it was she was just an idiot. And people are all against name calling or whatever. But it's like even the AI response to that when I posted it, it was like, you know how Facebook gives AI.
The new meta response. Like a summarized.
It was like, readers are calling this reviewer an idiot. So it's like, there it is. I mean, AI thinks you're an idiot.
I was speaking to, I think it was Mick over at Brew Life, and he's just like, he's like, Ray has a whole legion of fans that will mob on these people that do it.
Man, and it hit. I can't tell you how much we appreciate those people. They've been with us from the beginning, and that's a testament to not only. I mean, I believe that we have good food. It's consistent. I'll use Five Guys as an example. I like to eat there because it tastes the fucking same every time I eat there. I already know it's going to be bad or mediocre. But I can count on it being bad and mediocre every time. And so our food is very consistent, but aside from that, people, I think they gravitate towards Nikki and I. They love us, and we love them. So that's you've done. We did a series of pop-ups at my place, and it was great getting to know you. Yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a good time.
And you have certain favorites, like some of your mother's heritage into the Hawaiian menu.
For sure,
that's a super popular thing. Have you brought that out in a while?
Not yet. We're trying to figure out a way to squeeze it in, maybe like a once a month Sunday brunch. It's a lot of work going into that menu, and just like the problem with that menu is like with our barbecue, it's a one-shot deal. We don't rehash any of the meat. At the end of the service, we give it to our neighbors. We give whoever's working here. If there's any left, we spread the love around here. Even like Friday night, we took some brisket to I believe it might have been West End. We took some. We did have one rack of ribs. Somebody that paid for them, and they never picked the shit up. We took it over to next door, and I mean, people that in itself is another reason why we gained followers, because I have no problem with like hooking people up, helping people,
taking care of your community.
And people they'll support you over that.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I saw at Turkey and the Wolf in New Orleans, they do like an $8 contribution, and they'll, for every contribution of that, they'll take and feed. I think they go through a food bank or some sort of service. They deliver meals to people who can't afford it.
That's awesome. Awesome.
I thought that was really cool. They also have like a fridge outside, and it's such a New Orleans thing. But it's like if you need food, they put it out there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, and I mean, we don't really put this out there, unless we're doing like collections for it. But we've done multiple. Like homeless outreach programs where we'll collect, hygienic stuff and medical stuff, bag it all up, and then go out and hand it out ourselves along with food, just whatever we can do, socks, shirts, and we get a lot of support from our customers for that.
Yep.
You know, we'll put out an Amazon hit list, and they'll like 1,000 boxes will show up at the house.
Yeah.
So it's awesome, man. Like the last hurricane, we took a whole box truckload and almost 3 truckloads of supplies down to down south.
Okay. Did you go Pine Island, kind of that area, or where'd you go?
That was one of the drops, and then because the what do they call that? The something Navy.
Cajun Navy.
The Cajun Navy.
Yeah.
They had one set up in Fort Myers and another one further south, and we were able to drop off at both spots. So, and that's another reason. I mean, our customers did that. We didn't do it. Our customers did it. But, you know, I think that they feel like they're involved in every aspect of what we do, down to making the menu, down to some of the most favorite menu items are actually input from, you know, loyal customers. They're like, hey, what about this? Let's add, you think you can make us this? And,
Oh, yeah. You guys definitely listen because you have people that have certain favorites and you want things. And
for sure.
I want to come Friday for that cheesy beef, but I'm also going to want barbecue. So I'm kind of torn.
Cheesy beef is murder, dude.
Yeah. And is that Fridays only?
Fridays only.
Yeah. I'll be here Friday.
Takes up a lot of space on the griddle, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I mean, the whole process of getting the cheesy beef to where it hits the griddle.
Yep.
So
what is the cheesy beef?
It's a whole smoked eye around.
Okay.
Then we slice it super thin, and then we prep it on the griddle like a traditional cheesesteak.
Okay.
With our cheese sauce, American cheese,
Yep.
sauteed onions. But it's like, you know, the smoking process. The meat gets smoked, then it gets chilled overnight so we can slice it the right way. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of fucking work for one.
I think all barbecue is, because it's not like you can have stuff going. Like, you're working all night to get ready for that next day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And holding is also not the easiest thing on earth.
That holding is definitely part of the artwork of barbecue.
Yep.
And that, like I said, a lot of people, the thing I was talking about, I'll touch back again why we only do it 2 times a week. So they'll cook their meat in batches, put it in the walk-in, and then they heat it up throughout the week, which is standard practice, you know. And that's why a lot of barbecue you get might be oversaturated in the smoke or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we kind of tried to do something like that in the beginning, and I was like, you know what? I don't like it, because you can look at it. I can look at it and tell. And at least this way, you know, I'll come in the morning. Our lunch service starts at 12 o'clock. So that meat was literally coming out of the smoker between 8 and 9. Yeah. So it has just enough time to sit in the Alto Sham, get its juices back, and to be served for lunch service.
I think that was the biggest secret that helped my barbecue get a little bit better was the hold.
For sure. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody's skipping that, then you're just missing the whole a very important process of smoking.
I got brisket at a place, and like they cut it, it was juicy. I got to my table and it was dry. Is that not held barbecue?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and either that or when they're wrapping it, they're because I was watching some videos on YouTube. So they wrap it in plastic wrap and they inject juice into the plastic wrap. Mm-hmm. So you see a bunch of videos. The guy drops his brisket wrapped in plastic, cuts it open, all this juice comes out, but that's something that's injected into it afterwards.
Right.
There's no way there's that. And even if there was that much juice in there, it's going to be a pot roast by the time you eat it.
Right.
It completely loses the whole aspect of brisket.
I'm not as big on brisket as other people, just because I've had enough bad ones, and it's a high risk game. Very. And then if you don't do it right, you've got really shitty. I mean, the best you can do maybe is do burn-in tacos after or something like that. Yeah, it all becomes burn-ins.
I specifically found out throughout the years that, and I don't want to sound like I'm like, I'll just say it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, they think that their idea of good barbecue is very subpar barbecue in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like when people go to some place like Missions, or I'll use Woody's. It's a prime example. A friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, he owned a Woody's franchise for almost 15 years. Yeah. So even before we started, I was able to look into that type of, the type of meat they were getting, the type of sides they were getting. In the big franchise like that, they were sending the meat in the bags, all the sides in the bags. And, that's what a lot of people, I'll see it on the Facebook group, like, oh, Missions has the best barbecue around here. It's a franchise. They're sending them, even if they are smoking some of the meat in-house, like most of the food is probably getting sent to them.
It's commissary style.
Yeah, for sure. Like Taco Bell. I mean, they're not
Right.
That meat's coming in bags.
Yep.
So a lot of people just
partially cardboard.
And that's what I mean. Like Perry, for example, I love his barbecue.
Yep.
I love him as a person. He's awesome.
Yep.
And you know what, dude? So when he left the farmer's market, Bricks took over, and we used to go every Saturday to get his brisket. It was really good. He had one of those gravity fed smokers out there, and then he got into the restaurant, and his whole like thing just switched. It was completely different. So people, they sit there like, oh man, Bricks has some good brisket. And I'm like, dude, you should have had it when he was at the farmer's market. Right. It was real brisket then.
I agree. It's, we're nothing like Texas here. And this is my statement. I want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like there's either Sarasota doesn't support good barbecue or there's not enough good barbecue to bring enough support.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that people know. We get dinged a lot because we don't sauce the meat, so it tastes like meat.
Right.
We make our own ribs from pork butts. The ribs we wrap when they come off the smoker, and we treat them and then wrap them, so they kind of make their own sauce. Like the brisket sandwich, if you get a brisket and a pulled pork sandwich, the only thing they have on them is the rub. Yeah, we don't put any sauce on them.
Right.
And brisket is done Texas style, garlic, salt, and pepper.
Yep.
And like I said, we make our own. It's almost like a Kansas City style rub for the pork butts.
Yep.
But a lot of people are like, man, this tastes very unique. And I'm like, in my head, it tastes like pork. It tastes like beef.
Right.
Because some of our, they're not even really competitors. There's some of our barbecue family. Like I went to a guy's by the house, and he gave me a bunch of barbecue. I just wanted to talk to him, and he gave me a bunch of food. But the pulled pork reminded me of, immediately, and I know why people like it. And this is my first bite. I was like, man, this reminds me of when I was in elementary school. I feel like I'm sitting in the lunchroom right now. But then I'm thinking to myself, that fucking barbecue sucked. It's coming out of wherever it comes from. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's coming out of a bag. They're over saucing it. And I'm looking down and I was like, man, there's a gallon of sauce on this one little thing.
Yeah.
I ate it. But yeah, and that's what people think. It's just people's matter of opinion.
Yep.
I definitely don't think that I have anywhere near the best barbecue. And sometimes I'll look at it and be like, man, looks fucked up. We shouldn't serve it. We don't serve it.
Right.
There's been times we took briskets and we'll just put them aside and let the help take it completely the whole thing because I just don't want to put that out there.
Right.
But if I did serve it, I don't think that anybody would know the difference between any of it. They'd be like, "Oh, this is the best brisket you've ever made." So it's all just subject to opinion.
What do you like to start with? Like, what's your philosophy on a brisket? Or does it matter if it's choice or prime or black Angus?
No, all the meat we get is certified Angus.
Yep.
And it started out as a really cheap cut of meat. So I don't believe in you can't really. If you're getting into the Wagyu stuff, you're gonna taste a difference. You see a difference in the cooking process. Right. But as far as the Angus stuff and the certified whatever, it's we found something that we use consistently.
Right.
I want it to taste the same consistently, and I would almost rather close if we can't find something that's the same that even it's down to the slaw. If it's not the same cut cabbage that we get, then I don't even want to be open. Why be open?
Right.
If I can't have my fries, I don't want to be open.
I love those new fries.
Yeah.
I remember the old fries are like nothing.
Regular fry.
I love that type of that curl in there, and it gets you get different textures because of different thickness.
Yeah, that's when so the parent of those fries, it's a bigger cut, and it's like a wedge, but but it's too potato-y.
Right.
So we told our girl, I was like, I'm not going to use this shit. I need something smaller. And she was like, well, I think they do make something smaller.
Right.
So
that's a killer cut of fry.
Yeah, I love it.
I know that a lot of traditionalists are like, they want the meat just as the meat. I do still love a good sauce. So that's where I probably go fries with sauce. Your sweet sauce I thought was tremendous. And then what is this? The throat punch, but this is like a little stepped up from the throat punch.
Yeah. Someone gave us some, a food company is trying to get our business. And they gave us a bunch of ghost peppers and, reapers.
Yeah.
and those were a little hotter than what we usually get.
So you got an extra warning on that bottle?
Yeah, but we cut it 12. We usually only cut it once. We had to cut this one twice.
Yeah.
I tasted it, and I was like, why the hell did I do that? So, yeah, it's got a nice kick to it.
Do you find more people are into the spice these days? Because Sarasota, like sometimes you can't even find hot sauce on the shelf.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people say after they eat that, because a lot of them think that it's not that spicy. Mm-hmm. And so they'll just squirt it all over everything. Yeah. And they're like, oh, my God, I made a mistake. And I'm like, well, it says it on there.
Right.
But we have two. We make a sauce called Death Sauce. It's mango-based. Mm-hmm. And then we have one called MDK. It stands for Mouthole Death Kill. Demolition Man.
Yep.
We lacto ferment that for maybe 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
And it has like a nice sriracha feel to it. Like mouth feel, but it's fucking nuclear, man.
Is that available most times, or is that?
No, I got to be in the mood to do that, dude. Because as you know, when you're trying to ferment something, you got to put straight love into it. Mm-hmm. Or just, it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to work as less as possible.
Yep. Do you like it better outside of the truck now? This location, it's got to be better than the last location.
For sure. I mean, without saying too much about the last location, we were made promises, they didn't come through. Mm-hmm. And I just packed the shit up, and I didn't even leave them with an explanation.
Yeah.
I talked to the guy, and he was like, you want to do it, you can do it. We're not in the point where we can put more money into the building. 2 days later, we were backed up.
Yeah.
Which, I told him in the beginning, I'm just not that guy where if you tell me you're going to do something, I need you to do it.
Yep.
If I tell you I'm going to do something, it's done.
Yep.
So, but this, a lot of people don't know, is that Nikki had a clothing store on Superior Avenue, mm-hmm. maybe 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
She was a clothing designer, so she had a shop over there. So, like the whole Gulfgate family thing, we were part of here before. Mm-hmm. Car Connection, a lot of the owners that own the bars, we've known these people for like 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Beery's wasn't even Beery's. It was Still Can Alley.
Yep.
That's first night here. We went and saw Agent Orange there.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Gulfgate used to be a completely different animal back then, but it's like awesome that all the new businesses accept us. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are our regulars, mm-hmm. which is also cool, to see all the other restaurants come in.
Yeah.
I always get weirded out when they're like, hey, chef. And I'm like, oh, chef, dude. Because I don't take, titles like that. It's like you earn that shit for real.
Yeah.
30 years plumbing, I never, I didn't even consider myself a master plumber.
Right.
I knew a lot. I could figure out anything probably, but I just, I didn't go through the steps to getting that last title.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel, like it's some honor type shit.
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely like the humble, hardworking thing allows you to build the right people. And a lot of what I tell people too is like when people love my place, I'm like, just tell people you like. And because word of mouth is the best thing. I think you've got tremendous word of mouth.
100%.
You also have a loyal following that also contributes to your place, like your tip jar over there. Tell me the story behind that one.
So a friend of ours made that. He just out of the blue brought it up to the other place. And as soon as he walked in with the box, I was like, dude, that fits Mouthole.
Yeah.
100%. We actually got this little thing that it's like a motion sensor. Mm-hmm. So when someone puts money in the mouth, it will make a little noise.
Right.
So I'm going to make a little moaning noise. And every time you put money in there, it's going to be like,
I bet somebody will hate that.
I mean, so we were featured on, so we've been on Suncoast View a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
And each time, Nikki will somehow slip some type of sexual innuendo in there. And so we did try tip one time, and sure as shit, they kept saying, oh, we're just going to just put the tip in your mouth. All you got to do is put the tip, just saying it over and over. And the blonde, I can't remember her name. She is a riot.
Oh, yeah.
But there's another older blonde. Her name is Linda.
Yep.
And Linda. It was, I don't think she quite understood what was happening.
Which other blonde were you talking about? Was that Nikki or?
Not Nikki. The one that I think she's pretty much runs the show. She's the most long-standing.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to look up her name. The last time I was there, she was just so dialed in.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome, dude.
She's like, this is going to go like this. It's going to do this. And Yeah, we'll have to edit in the names. We're gonna look like assholes because
I know
she made me look a lot better last time. Like she put me at ease with stuff because I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. And,
well, from the first show they were like,
"Say what up to see."
That's got to be easy. She'll probably be the first one to pop up.
Yeah, she brings her husband in for bourbon. I know where I saw it. Sometimes I just draw a blank. Do you ever get that where you have people who come in and they're like, love it. Hey Ray, how's Nikki? Blah blah blah. And you have to pretend like you remember who the hell they are
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, we've been at stoplights and the car next to us be like, I'm gonna put your fucking meat in my mouth, old dude. I'm like, oh, that's weird. But even so, Nikki, her moniker, her designing moniker was Punk Rock Betty.
Yeah.
And when we were doing that, we would be walking the mall, wherever it was, and just fucking from
Yeah.
It's Punk Rock Betty.
Yeah.
And we'd be looking all around like, what the fuck?
Now, how long have you been with Nikki? You said you've known her forever, right?
Yeah, we've been married. She's going to fucking kill me, dude. So we've been together for over 25 years.
Yeah.
Or now. We knew each other when we were kids.
Yeah.
I think she may have been 16 and I was no, she was younger than maybe 14 and I was 16.
Yeah.
You
got friend zoned for a little bit.
Well, I mean, we were both in the punk scene, so we each had our different groups.
Yep.
So and her actually her older brother sang in a band that I played in.
Mm-hmm.
So they would always come over to my house, and dude, I had 2 ramps in the backyard. My dad was a jazz musician, so any music that I played, he was happy that I was at least exploring music.
Yeah.
So we would have punk bands playing in the garage. An impromptu boxing ring set up right there. People, I mean, it was just completely nuts, man.
Yeah.
This is mid 80s, early 80s. And we were just raising the most hell that we could.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was cool with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I met her, is through her older brother.
And you gave her some credit. I think the other day we were talking, you gave her some credit with getting your shit straightened out, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I was definitely on my way to being a career criminal, if not already there.
Right.
And so we started dating, and she was like, look, if you just basically laid it out. If you go back to what you were doing, then we can't be together.
Right.
And then so I obviously chose her.
Yeah.
And that's, I was already plumbing, but I was only plumbing because I needed a job for court.
Sure.
And then that's when I really became serious about the trade.
Yeah.
Because I needed a way to support. She had 2 sons. I had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And, got to raise a family. So our kids were basically raised together.
Yeah.
And that's that. We've
That's
been together,
awesome.
yeah.
She's I would say she's your ride or die, right? You guys are on
the
motorcycle
sure.
together.
I mean, dude, we've
together.
only so my sister passed away a couple years ago, and I rode to Virginia, and I was gone for maybe 4 or 5 days. That was probably the longest stretch that we've been apart for over 20 years.
Yeah. Do you ever want to strangle each other working together so much?
All the fucking time.
Yeah.
No, not because we're working together, just in general.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I feel like her hands were around my neck, but I can't prove it. But it feels like it. I don't know if I'm just having an asthma attack in bed or something, or I was just actually being choked.
Yeah.
But I can't, I'm going to have to set up a camera or something.
My wife feeds me a whole cocktail of vitamins and things every day. And I've joked many times, but one time she actually got mad at it. I'm like, how did you not get mad all the other times? But I joked that, she's feeding me the ones that keep me alive now, but when she's done with me, she'll start replacing me with the ones that
she'll
get rid of me.
That jagged glass in one of those little capsules.
Yeah. So several of my friends know that we got to get a toxicology report,
Yeah, I think Nikki would just strangle my ass outright. So
yeah.
Everybody will know.
Yeah.
She'd probably do it on live or some bullshit like that.
So I think we've covered almost everything. We got to I definitely want to know when you're going to do the Hawaiian night again.
That's something we got to plan and get it out there. We'll announce it at least a month in advance.
You're gonna have to do it. I don't know. This whole place is gonna. You do a Sunday brunch. You're gonna have to do a couple sessions, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we've been trying to work out is how long they can stay in here, drink specials, what food will be available, and for how much. Because if someone comes, I want them to stay and have a good time. I don't want to kick anybody out, but you can't have 2 sessions unless you start kicking motherfuckers to the curb.
Nice thing about a Sunday though, you can probably pull off like a mid-morning one and like say a 10:30 and a 1. I've done that with
that would give them plenty of time. Definitely give them plenty of time.
And so you would course that out probably and do wine or beer pairings, or how do you run that?
No idea.
Yeah,
no idea. A lot of people don't believe this. A lot of things we do are pretty much by the seat of our pants.
Sure.
And especially like a lot of our specials. We actually won something at J Dubs. It was get out of that out. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that name, but they had some like a bacon contest or something,
mm-hmm.
and so we did something, and literally the morning of, we're laying in bed like we got to go to this fucking thing, and I was like, well, we'll do this as our entry, and we hands down beat them all.
What was your entry? How did you do the bacon?
I can't remember. It was like an Asian style, and then it was on a skewer with. It was actually pork belly.
Yep.
I did have so it wasn't spur of the moment. I knew what kind of bacon we were going to use.
Yeah.
Because I obviously prepared the bacon.
Sure.
It took me a fucking week to do the shit, but we didn't know how we were going to present it or what else we were going to accompany it with,
mm-hmm.
and we did some type of Asian slaw and some other shit. Jizzled some stuff on there, and it was a hit. I mean, we did a couple other things where like the Asian profiles, just like people love that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they love that.
So are you pork belly burn-ins or brisket burn-ins?
Brisket burn-ins only with the point.
Yeah,
and absolutely only with the point. That's why we rarely do it,
mm-hmm.
because a lot of times I trim the decal out and I trim it down so well that I'll slice the point and just serve it regular.
Mm-hmm.
Even somebody is like, I don't want a lot of fat on it. They're eating the point and don't realize that's the fatty part. Because like Nancy was, she had a little popularity for asking people, do you want the fatty or do you want the lean?
Right.
I'm not going to ask you nothing. I'm going to slice whatever I got.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because it tastes the same. It might have, might be a little fattier, but
yeah.
I'm not going to serve it to the point where it's inedible.
Yeah.
With fat.
I think these Texas places have it kind of lucky because they've got such a following that when you pull that brisket out, you can slice that till it's gone and move on to the next one.
Oh yeah. Well, then if you watch how they slice it, they cross so the point is against the striations. I mean the flat,
mm-hmm.
but the point is actually going with.
Yep.
So they're slicing it, like leaving it whole, not separating the two at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting like a slice of fatty and a slice of lean all in one shot.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that all that fat on there. Even like with pork butts, a lot of people will pull the pork butt, leave all that fat in there and just kind of like mash it in there.
You're talking like that big fat cap that goes over.
And then the part in the middle and all that. Anything like that, I'd take it off.
Yeah.
And another, like we leave all our pork butts whole,
mm-hmm.
and we pull them one at a time as needed and break them up in the warmer.
I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. So I'm not having I don't have a pan, 2 pans, 3 pans of pork just chilling in the altar sham.
Right. Like I see people like I've let my hands off my barbecue before, and then people are like, oh, just shred it all up. I'm like, no, what are you doing?
No. Yeah. Because it even looks different. Yeah. Even and that it might taste good, put a bunch of sauce on it or whatever, but there's a difference.
I went to Rodney Scott's Whole Hog Barbecue. He's got 2 new restaurants in Birmingham, so I stopped by there, and it was mid-afternoon, and so I don't want to beat him up too much on it, but it was just stringy dry pork on a slice of white bread, and like maybe I had my hopes up too high because that chef's table thing on him was just so beautiful, and I loved all those episodes, especially the barbecue ones, but it just wasn't that good.
You ever heard of Buxton Hall?
Mm-mm.
In Asheville?
Sounds familiar, but no.
So they had a big thing on the Food Network. When they process a pig, they use everything. They make out of the bones and guts. Mm-hmm. They make soap and sham, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they process that's what they're famous for.
Yep.
So we went there. We took a vacation in Asheville. Probably the worst barbecue I had.
Yeah.
Like completely ever.
Mm-hmm.
I really couldn't. They brought it to the table. I looked at Nikki and I was like, this is going to take some, mental power not to cuss somebody out right now, dropping this shit at my table. And we got like a smoked pimento cheese plate as an appetizer, and that was like delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Taste of smoke on there. I mean, It was awesome. And I was like, man, this is going to be best barbecue my entire life.
Yep.
Nope. The chicken looked like it was boiled. And then, like I said, and that happened to us on that day. Right. It could have been the best thing in the world the next day.
Sure.
But it just goes back to the fact that all this stuff is made by someone's hands, man-made.
Yep.
And there's always a chance for something to get messed up or someone not to have a good day.
Have you ever had Dreamland? And I think there are like 5 locations around Alabama.
No.
That's a good one. I forget is like Big Papo is the guy, like a legendary. He had basically a brick shack next to Alabama, like Tuscaloosa. But very thin and peppery sauce, but great spot. Should have gone there when I was in Birmingham, but I had to check out the Rodney Scott. And I want to give Rodney Scott another shot just to see if it gets better.
Yeah, I mean, barbecue, we've had some good barbecue. So, and we make it. It's not going to change. I don't give a fuck what flavor profile it is, so I just don't want to eat it.
Yeah. Unless
they have something like we might do tri-tip this weekend, depending on how much it is.
Mm-hmm.
We eat that.
Yeah.
Every now and then we'll, if there's ribs left over, we'll take a bite just to see.
When you're smoking a tri-tip, are you just get it up to a certain point and then do it, or are you smoking it all the way through? I'm trying to think, because what I've done is I've smoked it and then I sous vide it, so it's easier to hold.
What? Cheater.
Yeah, I know. Well,
no.
Yeah, it's cheating. It's cheating.
Boiler.
It's just, it's a way to hold things a certain way because I don't have a smoker anywhere near my place.
Here's a funny thing about that sous vide. We met some people on a food truck.
Yeah.
Awesome people. Totally awesome people. They're no longer in operation.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't tell the story. But he was like, man, come take a look at my trailer. We get up on the trailer and they're grilling these big half-pound patties.
Yep.
And they're fucking huge. And all they have is a grill. Commercial grill.
Yep.
I'm like, man, how the fuck are you cooking this fucking thing? I mean, they're fucking, and then I look over and he's probably got like about 50 to 60 patties in these little bags.
Yep.
In the sous vide. And I was like, you son of a bitch. And then, the texture just wasn't there, dude.
Right.
Maybe for a steak or I just don't like, there's a definite texture change for me. Tastes awesome.
Yeah.
And the science behind it fascinates me.
Yeah.
But it's just, I can't do it.
I love it for say chicken wings. I'll do them at, I think, 145 for a couple hours. So, you're getting up to that bottom temperature and then you flash fry them after that.
Right.
And cause I never want to serve somebody a chicken wing and they pop it open and it's bloody.
Yeah.
It's just raw chicken. I don't even touch it raw chicken.
That's why we stopped. So we used to, right now we offer on our catering menu, boneless, skinless thighs. We used to offer half chickens or chicken quarters.
Yeah.
But you could smoke a half chicken. You could smoke it at 200 degrees.
Yeah.
But that part that connects the breast to the thigh, you pull that apart, it's going to be red in there every single. That shit could be literally overcooked to where it's going to be dry.
Right.
And it'll still be a little red right there.
Yeah.
There's no way to get around that. And so we, a lot of people are like, this isn't wrong. I'm like, dude, it's been cooked. It's overcooked.
Right. Well, and I think chickens are just tough to do right because the breast, as soon as it hits 145 degrees, every degree over that, it squeezes out moisture.
Oh yeah.
And then the thigh can go up to 180 and still be tender.
That's why we use, and then we brine it too overnight. Yep. So that they definitely hold up well to the smoke.
Yeah. I love thighs, I think. Just so much more flavor.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where I'm at with chicken.
But we offer it every once in a while. We actually have a catering thing Thursday that we're doing chicken for, so we might do our fried chicken sandwich this week at some point. That's a really popular one. Nikki can fry the fuck out some chicken. So
how do you do now that you're brick and mortar and you have certain hours open, and then you have a catering gig? Are you able to split up and do both?
Well, this is a long-time customer of ours, so we just go set up the food and drop. They're going to eat around 11 a.m.
Okay.
So I'll just come along. I'll just make sure the meat's done early.
Yeah.
And we'll put it in Alto-Shaam and operate as normal.
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't done any setup catering since we've been in this place. And, just hard to find. We got staff that, like my guy, Todd, that works in the kitchen, completely trust him with the place. Trust him with the money. He makes the food just like I make it, the burgers. But it's hard to find somebody. If he's doing that, we need somebody for the front end too.
Yep.
And we need somebody that we can trust with the money.
Yep.
As you know, that's hard to find. That's hard to find.
Yep. It gets pretty costly not all the money is going in the bank account.
And it's at first it's such a small amount you don't even notice it.
Yep.
Until a couple months later, you're like, son of a bitch, they got me.
Yeah, I had an employee. He was selling a bottle that could have only come from my liquor store. Trying to sell it to one of my employees, but I knew he never bought it. And I went to go sell some other bottles that very hard to find, and turned out they were impossible to find where I've left them because they were gone. So, but karma, it'll come back. I mean,
it does come back. It does come back.
We're lucky to have a lot of support like yourself. It's just, people like what we're doing because we're doing different cocktails and Sarasota, like a lot of things, food and cocktail. It's just, they don't necessarily put out the best. And I feel like people will pay for it if you give them the best.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's, I don't mind paying whatever it is for the food.
Yeah.
We went to Chipotle. I already know it's going to be expensive for some bullshit, but we get it because I know it's consistently going to be bullshit.
Right.
It's going to be exactly what I want each time. And like with a lot of higher end restaurants, if I got to pay extra, then I'll pay extra.
Yeah.
We just had a guy leave a review. I don't know if you've seen that one, but he talked about, he said that burger and fries cost him $30-something bucks.
Oh yeah, I've got that screenshot.
Yeah, that's not even what he ordered.
Right.
Yeah, he got ordered a burger that came with fries, and that particular burger happens to be $18.
Yeah,
it's not a regular burger.
Right.
But then the second item he ordered was one of our loaded fries with pulled pork.
Yeah.
And the thing is drenched in cheese sauce.
Right.
It's got over a quarter pound of pulled pork. It's got pickled onions we do in house, pickled jalapenos we do in house, and whatever else that we feel like putting on there. And it literally can feed two people.
Right. It's not a side.
No, definitely not. And he was told that. And he got a side cup of cheese.
Right.
And it's like, bro, that's $32 worth of food in anywhere you look.
What did you start your reply on that one? I know what you said, but
I left a long reply on that one because he lied. So
I think it started, "You, sir, are an idiot."
That is one of the ones that because it's like, bro, tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell the truth that you made a mistake.
Yep.
And then not only you made a mistake, you asked for your money back. And by the time you left the register and hit the door, our POS had already credited back your credit card.
Yep.
So at least tell them the whole tale.
Right.
And it's like he's just like, they tried to charge me $35 for a burger and fry. Yeah. Nah, we didn't, dude.
Right.
So those are the type of things that piss me off.
Yeah. I was telling you the other day that meme that I read, it's like most people they'll be quick to tell you the customer is always right. And the real story, as at least what I read on the internet, and I loved it, so I'll just agree with it. It says the customer is always right in terms of taste.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it goes on to say it's been shortened for the worst type of people possible.
Yeah. Nikki would tell anybody flat out in a heartbeat, we're not here to provide you good customer service. Mm-hmm. We came from a food truck. This is a grab and go spot. Yeah. We're people love us.
Right.
But our we're not honed in on like, let's give the best customer service. I want to give you the best food experience that I can.
Right.
And I want to make sure it's the same the next week you come in and the next week you come in.
Right.
Because I need you to come in every week. And we have those people.
Right.
So they specifically come here for like the meatloaf.
Yep.
Why? Because it tastes the same every week.
Yep.
They know that they can count on that.
What I would expect here is fast casual.
For sure.
And your mom and pop. So that's great because you know that, like you said, you'll pull a brisket if it's not worth it. Yeah. But other places will not do that.
And we've had customers come in, they'll come sit down. They're like, oh, we got to go up there and order. And it's like, look around, dude.
Right.
There's a pig face painted on the wall.
Right.
No, we don't have waitresses. We're not going to wait on you hand and foot. If we got time, we will. I'll do anything to make you happy. We give out, so we did the burn in special a couple weeks ago, and we made sure to include like a couple anytime, someone got a brisket sandwich or a brisket item, mm-hmm. we would put a couple of burn ends on there.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, they come to the counter and be like, hey, how are you selling these? Half pound.
Yeah.
Let me get a pound.
Yep.
So, it's give and take. This is Sarasota. I think, it depends on what clientele you're getting in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But we try to take care of everybody.
Yeah. I think you found your family or your flock,
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing because, as long as you're putting out great barbecue, you're gonna get the masses. And
yeah,
I think some people actually just love the entertainment. And that's why we're here today is like the entertainment of that rebuttal.
That was definitely like, so when we used to do our pop-ups at Calusa, people knew that when we called ticket numbers that I would lose my shit if someone didn't come get their food.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew it. And so we went, number 15. And I'd be on the back of the trailer like, you motherfucker. And then everybody waiting in line would be like, number 15, you're a fucking asshole. And it just started this whole big thing. People loved when I had meltdowns over there.
Oh, yeah. So. And Jordy was telling us about a shirt you used to have.
Oh, so our first Mouthole barbecue shirts, it said Mouthole barbecue on the front, and on the back it said "fuck you, I'm busy."
Yeah.
So that's when we would turn our backs, people would know, hey, I'm busy.
Right.
Just chill out. We'll get to you.
I love that you're willing to risk that and get away with it.
That's the thing about starting as a food truck.
Yeah.
That we were able to do things because we only had 1 or 2 pop-ups in the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
So our story was, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's our way.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. We're very fucking lucky to be able to come this far and still be able to, people love to hear jizzle. People love to hear throat choker.
Do you remember the very first time you were at Calusa, what one of your specials was?
There's been some weird raunchy ass specials.
So the very first time, Jordy hadn't met you, but he knew of you through J-Dubs. And he invited his parents out because he was like, I've heard this is really good barbecue. So he's in line with his mother. And I think it's Jordy and Katie 69 special.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that was another thing we like to do. So we would pick out the major couples at each brewery.
Yeah. Right.
And do like a highlight, like a special.
Right.
And you know what, dude? So Taylor's going to kill me for talking about this. Taylor, he dated a girl. They were married for a while, and then they separated. But our loaded mac and cheese, she came to us one day and she was like, hey, put this on mac and cheese. This is what I want. And I was like, fuck, man, why haven't we been doing that this whole time?
Right.
So it became a fucking an entree on there.
Right.
And we called it the three-way.
Yeah.
The Ashley and Taylor three-way. And that fucking, every time somebody saw it on there, they'd be like, I want the three-way.
Yeah.
I want the three-way.
Yeah.
I want the three-way. And that's how our loaded mac became such a popular item.
Yeah.
And even now, so we got a friend, his name is John, him and his wife. You might have seen him at any of our pop-ups smoking cigars in the back of the trailer. An older couple.
Yeah.
But our JC special is something that he specifically wanted. He's like, I want half brisket, half pulled pork. I want the slaw in the middle on top.
Yeah.
I want some pickles, and I want a little jizzle of sweet sauce.
Yeah.
So that became like one of our most popular specials. And his thing is, he always says, something happens to Tammy, I'm going to the fucking Bunny Ranch. I'm going to have me the best time of my life.
Right.
So the Bunny Ranch has the 3 meats on it.
Right.
It's a combination of 3 things. And that's what it says on the specials.
Right.
It's the Bunny Ranch.
Right.
So a lot of people I don't know how the jizzle thing started, but we tried to phase it out at one point, and a couple of our customers were like, bro,
yeah,
I don't want to see this drizzled shit.
Right.
I want it to say jizzled.
Right.
So we never look back,
Yeah, I think you got to push limits some time and have some fun with it.
Well, the BBC was another one when we were on Suncoast. They kept saying it, and everybody's cracking the hell up. And I knew everybody watching's cracking up.
Oh, yeah.
But poor Linda, she's like, she didn't know what the BBC was.
Right.
And, I'm going to put the BBC in my mouth. And she's like, no, I'm going to put, because she wanted to eat the ribs.
Right.
And the other girl was like, oh, we'll put raised meat in your mouth. She's like, I'm going to put raised meat in my mouth.
Right.
It's fucking hilarious, man.
So her book club following, are they coming in after that?
They're probably cracking the fuck up. Yeah. Either that or they hate me.
Sometimes I look at some older women and it's like, you think like, oh, I got to be proper. I was like, no, this lady probably invented that move.
Yeah, we get a lot of them in here, and a lot of times they love it.
Yeah.
Some raunchy motherfuckers.
Right.
But I mean, it's like, everybody's just like you and I.
Right.
If you don't have a sense of humor, then that's your fucking loss.
Right.
You can't laugh at a menu, because our menu actually used to be way fucking worse.
Yeah.
Another good one is when so we had the brisket on Suncoast, and she was asking Nikki what was the best sauce to use.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikki was like, I don't have it out here, but she was like, oh, the tangy yellow is the best on the brisket.
Yeah.
And she goes to pick up the bottle, and Nikki's like, be careful, she's a squirter. And she goes to squirt it, and it's fucking squirts everywhere.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, she is a squirter. And then she takes the bottle, and the male co-host is on there. She's like, I'm I'm gonna squirt on his meat. I don't know. It was crazy.
Right.
And I was poking Nikki, and I was like, we're never gonna be asked to come back on here again.
I'm not sure that they're not in on it. Like that's
dude,
that's too good.
Well, that was a joke in the first episode that we were on. They were like, they're known for some of their innuendos,
right?
And sure, the one was just the tip,
yeah.
And they kept saying it. I'm gonna put the tip in my mouth. I'm gonna put the tip in my mouth, and I was like, man, this is awesome.
If they're doing that on purpose with a straight face, like we got to give them more credit.
Oh, dude, and then they were just like, she was just like, just don't say that, just don't curse,
right?
Because we're gonna stretch the limits.
Right.
We want you to, you guys are here. We want to have fun.
Right.
Just whatever you can say, whatever you want. Just don't curse.
Right.
That was hard.
That's impossible.
Yeah, that was hard. That was a hard one, especially for Nikki. She talks like a sailor. Dude.
She's worse than you.
Oh yeah, she's the F-bomb queen.
Right. Oh, I love a good F-bomb. There's an art to it.
She has it mastered.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the most inappropriate
time.
I'm like, babe, there's kids around. You shouldn't be saying that word.
All right. Well, next time we'll get Nikki on. And next time we'll do it on a cheesy beef and barbecue Friday. But you're probably too busy then, right?
I mean, well, we still close every day.
Close
3 and 5. Yeah.
So you that's a big thing. You got a guy that keeps on showing up at 3:05 and wonders why he doesn't get it.
I'm surprised he didn't leave a bad review. I was hoping he would.
Right.
But I was like, bro, we close it every day at 3. And he was like, well, I've been here like at least 5 times at 3 and y'all been closed. Yep. I just shut the door. I couldn't even reply to that. I was like, you're right. Shut the door. It was a little weird, but
yeah. Well, hey, great hanging out with you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming.
Well, good to see you here. Good to see you at my place. Thank you for always supporting me. And
for sure, man.
You support a ton of other local people. I see you out there. Our buddy George at Cigar. He's a huge fan of yours.
Love George.
When he put his cigar place down by mine, which people don't know, you can get a locker down there. You can grab bottles, take it down there. But he put a big sign up that says "Dive" down there, and it's like right away. I got rid of selling cigars. I was like, I don't know much about cigars, so I got rid of cigars, and I'll stick to what I'm good at, and let him stick to what he's good at.
Well, one of their guys, so George got me a lager. He gave me a lager there, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, you can go down to the Dive. I don't know if you've ever been down there. You can get a bottle there and bring it down here."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Stop it, dude." Of course, I know the Dive.
Yeah, and we know what you like. You like the girly sweet drinks from time to time, right?
I mean, yeah, dude. Y'all don't have little umbrellas, though.
We do sometimes.
He put something in it last time. It made me feel a lot better about it.
Was it a skull pick?
No, it was something like super girly, pink, and I don't know what it was.
Got an orchid. I could get you.
I think it was. It was like it was some type of flower or something. Yep. He stuck that in there, and I was like, dude, you don't know how fucking happy you just made me.
We'll make sure that we go over the top next time.
Well, that last time we were there, we were with some friends of ours, and they would not stop drinking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, these are like for real drinks. Right. And then, you could drink 2 or 3. If you're slamming them, then you're not feeling the full effect.
No. But it'll hit you.
I'm feeling the full effect.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, we got to go. No, one more.
Yeah.
No, I can't drink one more.
Right.
And that was like 4 or 5 later.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still, one more. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. I hope he called him an Uber. Or if not, let me call him an
Uber. Yeah. We made it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we called an Uber.
His girlfriend really wasn't. She had one.
Somebody was in their right mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely.
Yeah. I try and keep a 2-drink rule. If I have 2 drinks, I'm calling a cab.
You got to. They're good.
Yeah.
They're good.
And I can't be getting a DUI. That'd be some.
I don't even want to try.
That would be so much news around town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. It might get you more business. Dude.
Yeah. I stand behind my product.
Yeah.
So, yes, speaking of standing behind my product, we've got a big thing going with mutual friend Mick. It's starting. He's campaigning for beer, and so I'm campaigning for wine. The whole goal is to kind of make fun of the political landscape. We're not trying to be blue or white or blue or red or conservative or whatnot. Yeah. We're trying to make a little bit of a joke at this because I don't feel like any of these people are giving our best interest at hand. But I love Mick, and we're going to do some serious mudslinging.
That's awesome.
But if you had to choose sides, and you don't have to feel pressure because I'm here, but are you going team wine or team beer?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard decision.
You probably got to go beer, right? Because Caluso is so big for you.
that.
And
that would be they are.
I'll get my support.
What?
Yeah. So we got Mick.
That would tip the Calusa would tip the scales for us.
Yeah. So Mick, I'm finding you votes over here because you're going to need them.
Mick, you motherfucker, fucking Mick.
Oh man.
But I would like to shout out Calusa. Definitely hands down family to us.
Yeah.
They've helped us out a lot over the years. Vice versa.
Yep.
And a lot of our customer base is definitely Calusa customer base.
For sure.
So, I mean, damn near every special we have has been debuted at Calusa first.
Yep.
So, yeah, we've got some really strong ties with them.
When they went into that new location, it was like a long time coming. Jordy told me, it's like, we're only having one outside truck to start because they had this big fish concept going in.
Yeah.
And that was you. Which
They did, and we started doing our thing when that took off. We did. We were like, we'll take every Sunday, which we did for a while. We were doing Saturdays and Sundays.
Yep.
And then it just got when we started our own thing, we just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He approached us like it was before they got that location, and just kind of kicked the idea of, what if this scenario happen?
Right.
Would you ever go into a brick and mortar or whatever?
Yeah.
And at the time, that completely wasn't on our fucking radar.
Right.
And we were not really forced into this, but it's like we had the other place. We didn't want to go backwards.
Right. When you said Nikki wanted out of the truck.
Nikki definitely wanted out of the truck.
Yeah.
So she is the boss.
All right.
Then Nikki gets what Nikki wants.
Yeah. Probably wise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get strangled. Well, I'm pretty sure she's been strangling me. I just can't prove it.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Ray.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming by.